Hello students, welcome to the Science Online class. Today I am going to explain the chapter Reproduction in Plants of class 7. In this video I am going to explain what is reproduction, the types of reproduction, the various modes of the asexual reproduction. Then we'll discuss the sexual reproduction, pollination, fertilization, and at the last, dispersal of fruits and the seeds. Let's start with what is reproduction. Children, reproduction is a process in which the every living organisms are producing their young ones of their same kind. So this process is called as the reproduction. To talk about the types of the reproduction, there are two types of the reproduction. First is sexual reproduction and the second one is the asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, it is a process in which the both male and the female parents are involved in the production of the new individuals of the same kind. For example, if you see the flowering plants like the rose, China rose, mustard, papaya, lily, all these plants are showing the sexual reproduction. Now, what is asexual reproduction? The process in which only single parent is involved in the production of the new individuals of the same kind is called as the asexual reproduction. For example, fungus, algae, ferns, moss, etc. So all these plants are having the asexual reproduction. Children, to talk the other difference between the sexual and the asexual reproduction is that in sexual reproduction you see the variations more. Now what is variations? Variations means are the difference of the characters of the individuals from their parents. So here in asexual reproduction, you will see the less variations in the individuals from their parents. And why do we see the less variation? Just because in this asexual, there is only single parent is involved. Now, let's talk about the various modes of asexual reproduction. So first, let's start with the budding. Children, budding takes place in the microorganisms like the yeast. And if you talk about the higher, it is also occurring in the hydra also. Hydra, it is an aquatic animal. So what is budding? So in the various unicellular organisms, if you see the yeast, they have a small bulb-like projections which are called as the buds. They are coming out from the body of the organisms. These buds, when they grow like a chain and when it gets matured, it gets detaches from the body of the parent to form a new organism. So thus, the new detached cells, it gets matured and it becomes a new organism. So this is the budding process. Children, you are seeing the diagram here, the budding in the yeast as well as in the hydra. Now, let's talk about the another mode of asexual reproduction is the fragmentation. Children, this fragmentation is occurring in the organisms like the planaria, like the algae, and if you talk about the filamentous algae, that is the Spirogyra, it is showing the fragmentation. Now, what is the fragmentation? So, in this process, the body of the living organisms, it is break down into the many fragments, and these fragments they grow individually into a new organism. Now, how do they grow into the new organism? When there is a sufficient amount of water and the nutrients available, then only they grow and multiply rapidly by this process. Children, if you see the algae like the Spirogyra, it covers a large area in a very short period of time. So this process is very quick process, and the algae are producing their number in a very short period of time, and it covers a very large area. In the similar way, if we talk about the planaria or the flatworms, here also the body of the planaria, it gets divided into fragments, and each fragment is giving rise to the new planaria. Let's talk about another mode of reproduction, asexual reproduction, that is the spore formation. Children, this process is taking place in the ferns, fungus, moss by the structures called the spores. Now, what are spores? These spores are special reproductive structures, and they are covered by a hard protective coat. So this protective coat, it helps the spores to withstand the unfavorable conditions like the high temperature. So if you see the spore formation in the fungus, here you are seeing that there is a small bulb-like solen-like structures in the head region, which is called as the sporangium. And inside this sporangium, the spores are present there. So when fungus gets favorable conditions, then the spores inside the sporangium, it gets matured, and the sporangium gets burst and spores are released in the air. And this also, it covers a very long distance as the spores are very light and they are floating in the air. Children, if you see the fungus, it generally grows in the humid conditions. If you see the spores of the fungus which are developed over the bread. Here also this spore formation, it takes place. Now let's talk about the another mode of asexual reproduction, that is the vegetative reproduction. We call the vegetative reproduction as the vegetative propagation. Now, what is vegetative reproduction? In this process, the parts of the plants like the root, stem, and leaves, they are giving rise to the new plants. So this type of reproduction is called as the vegetative propagation. So this vegetative propagation or the reproduction is done by two methods, that is the natural methods and the artificial methods. The natural methods I have already told you, that is from the root, stem, and the leaves. And the artificial methods, it is of various types, that is stem cutting, grafting, layering. So we will study these two different methods in the later on or in the coming slide. So these natural methods, if you talk, that it is occurring by the root, stem and the leaves. If you see the sweet potato or the dahlia, here through these roots only the reproduction or the plants it give rise. And you see this in dahlia and the sweet potato. Another type, if you see the underground stems like the potato, ginger, onion, all these are the different examples in which the reproduction takes place or vegetative propagation takes place through this stem. Children, if you see these underground stems, here you are seeing the birds are present over the stem region. If you see the potato, here the eyes, the dot like structures you are seeing, that is called as eyes. And if you cut the potato and sow it in the ground, then you will see that the potato plant is coming. In the similar way, the garlic here also, the you sow that garlic, a new garlic plant or the onion or this ginger, it is growing. Now, this vegetative propagation, it also takes place through the leaves, for example, like the bryophyllum, the begonia. Here, in the bryophyllum, we call this bryophyllum plant as, in Hindi we say the ajuba. Here, on the margins of the leaves, the adventitious roots are coming over these buds. And these, when you sow this bryophyllum leaf, the new bryophyllum plant, it gets developed. Now let's talk about the various artificial methods. That is the first one is the cuttings. These cuttings are very common process which are adopted by the gardeners to grow the new plants. In this method, the portion of the stem it is cut and they are planted into the soil. Here, the roots also get developed from these stem and then the new plant it get grows. So this kind of method, this the cutting, it is done in the rose, the bougainvillea, sugarcane, etc. Here you are seeing the cuttings, they are placed inside the soil. Let's talk about another artificial method, that is the grafting. So this is a common also the practice which is done in the rose, apples, and the various fruits, plants. In this method, we use the two closely related plants to produce the new plants in which we want to get the desired characters. So the one plant, that is the stalk, of which the root system is taking up, and the other plant, that is the scion, of which we use the shoot system. So in this method, we attach the scion to the stalk of the second plant. And in this way, we get the desired characters of both the plants in the same cuttings. And we are planting in the soil. So here the stalk and scion, they are joined with the grass bandage or something. With the moist soil is wrapped over it. So this method is done in different flowering as well as the fruits plant. So let's talk about the other artificial method, that is the layering. In this method, the new plants, they are formed by the branches of the parent plant. Here you see that the soft part of the lower branch of the plant on the both sides, it is pulled towards the ground, and then the part of it is covered with the moist soil. So after some time, you will see that the part of the branch which is below the ground, so there the new roots are developed. And when these new roots are developed, then the plants, it gets detached from the parent plant. So here we can get a variety of the plants by this method, like the strawberry, guava, lemon, and the China rose. Let's talk about the another type of reproduction, that is the sexual reproduction. Till now we have discussed asexual. Now let's start with the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, I have already explained that in this, both the male and the female part of the plant are involved in the formation of new living organisms. So if we talk about the plants, the flower is the reproductive part of the plant which takes part in the formation of the new plants. So flowers, they are of two types, that is the unisexual and the bisexual flowers. The flowers which contain both the male and female reproductive parts, that is the stamen and the pistil, so they are called as the bisexual flower. For example, lily, rose, brinjal, hibiscus, mustard, petunia, etc. Now the flowers which contain either the stamen or the pistil, or you can say any one, the reproductive part is present in the flower, so that kind of flower is called as the unisexual flower. For example, papaya, watermelon, cucumber, coconut. So I have already told you that the flower is the reproductive part of the plant. If you see the structure of the flower here, there are four main parts of the flower, that is the sepals, petals, stamen, and the pistil. So the sepals, they are green leafy-like structure which is forming the outermost part of the flower, is called as the sepals. And now when all these sepals are collected together, they form the calyx. So what is the function of these sepals or the calyx? It just protects the flower when it is in the bud stage. Now next part of the flower, that is the petals. So petals, they are the most colorful and attractive part of the flower, and they all lie inside the sepals. So when all these petals, they are collected together, they form the corolla. So children, these petals are scented, or you can say the fragrance is coming, so that the insects can be attracted for the pollination. Now let's talk about the reproductive parts of the plant, that is the stamen. So another name of this stamen is the androecium, or this is the male reproductive organ. If you see the structure of the stamen here, it is of two parts, that is the anther and the filament. The anther is the solid tip, the base, you can say the solen part of this stamen is the anther, which contains the male gametes, and the stalk-like structure is called as a filament. Next, reproductive part of the flower, that is a pistil. The other names of this pistil is the carpel or the gynoecium or the female reproductive organ, and it consists of three main parts, that is the stigma, style, and ovary. The stigma is the sticky surface where the pollen grains get attached, and from this stigma, a tube-like structures are connecting the stigma and the ovary, so that is called as the style. And the swollen base of this carpel, they are called as ovary, and inside the ovary, it contains eggs in which the female gametes are formed. Now let's start with how the sexual reproduction takes place in the plant. Children, for this sexual reproduction, there are two main steps, that is the pollination and the second is the fertilization. So what is pollination? So there is transfer of the pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the flower is called as a pollination. So children, pollination, it may be of two types, that is the self and the cross pollination. So if you talk about how the process of pollination takes place, children, you must have seen that when the bees, they are sitting over the male part of the flower, that is the anther, it collects the pollen grains from the anther, and then when it moves to the stigma of the other flower or the same flower, then you will see that the pollen grains are being transferred from the anther to the stigma. Here in the stigma, the pollen grains, it gets stick over the stigma, and then the pollen grains, it gets germinate, and the pollen tube is forming up. And inside the pollen tube, the pollen grains which is having the male gamete, it gets transferred into the female reproductive organ, and it goes from the stigma through the pollen tube to the ovary inside the ovary, and it gets fused with the egg cell, and a zygote is formed, and this process is called as the fertilization. So children, this fertilization is the second step of the sexual reproduction. So when this zygote is formed, it will develop into an embryo. Now, what will happen after the fertilization? Children, after the fertilization, this ovary, it develops into the fruit. The ovules, it develops into the seeds of the fruits, and all the remaining parts of the flower, it gets fall off. So this embryo, it gets enclosed inside the seeds. Now, how does the dispersal of seeds and fruits takes place? Now, what is dispersal of seeds and fruits? The scattering of the seeds or fruits from the plant by different agents like the wind, water, animals, birds, humans. So this process is called as the dispersal of seeds and fruits. So this, if you see, the dispersal of seeds takes place by water in water lily, lotus, chestnut, coconut. In these plants, the seeds and fruits of these plants have an outer fibrous or spongy covering which are easily dispersed through the water. Through this spongy covering, it gets float in the water and it goes along with the flow of the water. So in this way, the dispersal takes place by water. Now let's talk about the another agent, that is by the wind. If you see the structure like the dandelions, their seeds and fruits are very light and they are having a wing or hair-like structure, which are easily carried away by the blowing wind. So in this way, the water and the seeds and fruits are get dispersed through the wind. And this you will see in the maple, drumstick, the seeds of the madar or the oak plants. Here the dispersal takes place by the wind. Now let's talk about the another agent, that is the animals. You have seen that the certain seeds, they have a hook or the spine-like structure which are attaching over the body of the animals, and when these animals are grazing, they are moving from one place to another, then the seeds get dispersed. For example, like the xanthium, the Urena plants, they are having a hook-like structure which are attaching with the animal fur and are easily dispersed by them. So let's talk about the last agent, that is by the explosion method. Here, the certain plants like the castor, the fruits of the balsam, they are easily dispersed by the explosion method. Here, the certain fruits, when they become mature, then due to the sudden jerk, the fruits get open and the seeds are scattered from the parent plants. Here, when this explosion takes place, the seeds are thrown away from the plant with a great force in all the directions, and thus the seeds are scattered far away from the plants. So this method you will see in the balsam or in the castor plant. So children, I hope you people have understood the reproduction in plant sector. Thank you for watching this video.